But I do feel like it's really hard to survive in the art world unless you're willing to like put yourself online.
You cannot graduate from the Milan Art Institute unless you have a presence on Facebook and Instagram
Yeah.
and have your own web page.
Right. So that's the thing. It's like required. The person I was taking care of, her daughter had asked me like, is there any money to be made in like, making art, or like she was like painting stuff, furniture, items. I don't know. Do you think there's any money to be made in it? I'm like, well, it depends. It's hard. It's a very dense and saturated market. So you have to really be able to stand out. And I'm like, and if I said, but like social media is free for the most part, a lot of it. And if you have the right presentation, you can definitely make yourself known. And she was like, well, I don't do social media. And I'm like, then I'm going to have, like, I'm sorry to be discouraging, but I'm going to have to tell you, like, I don't think it's possible. I literally don't. Like in any, I don't care what kind of artist you are. You'd have to like, yeah, just it's how hard. I had a hard time with the one artist that I had in my shop in Greenwich who um he didn't have like an email, he didn't have Instagram, he didn't have any social media. He had like, I don't even know if it was a cell phone. I think he had a landline and an address. And like to this day, I had prints of his lying around that I didn't know how to get back to him because I couldn't get a hold of him.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's just weird. If you're making art and you're trying to connect with people, then you got to take advantage of all the ways that you can. So, like I know for you it might be intimidating because it's all very new, but if it's something that you want, if you're looking to push your artwork out to people, then I don't know if you can do it without doing that. I had been working on a website. It's a daunting task and it's just takes so much effort. I need to get back to it. I'm getting better at about having a routine. I was having like literally, I think the last year I've been held captive by the worst panic attacks ever in my life. And now we're finally doing a lot better. I'm finally doing a lot better, and he and I are finally doing a lot better as well. As a result, obviously, because if one of you had broken, then both of you broken. That's just the way it goes. So can't be helped. My friend would not want me to tell you this, but she is off painting in a little adjunct studio that we created off to the side. So I'm in my studio, and she's literally in a brand new, made up on the spot studio. I'm talking to Mike. To the people in my life. And I said she wouldn't want me to say this out loud, but she is over there painting and doesn't want to be heard. So if you hear me talking to dead air, I'm not. I'm talking to my artist friend who's painting incognito off camera. And her painting, in my opinion, is actually a lot cooler than mine. So if you were watching her live stream, you probably wouldn't get bored. And this is boring. Her painting is way more interesting. But she knows I'm on a live stream and she doesn't want people to know about her. So what we're doing is we're having a discussion. Can you be an artist in this current modern day? I need to cut my hair. Look at that. Uh, can you be an artist in this current modern day without social media? Is it possible? I say no. I say no, it's not. Um, I just you have to be present. So I want to encourage her while she's here visiting, and I want to encourage anybody else who's an artist that the CEO of YouTube, I was watching an interview with him yesterday, and he said, "We are here to help you sell. We don't succeed if you don't succeed." So to say like we're fighting the algorithm and YouTube is out to get me and all this stuff is ridiculous. It really is. He says we make money if you do well. And he said they had given out something like $50 million in the last couple years or years. I don't remember the stat. But anyways, he said the thing that sells on YouTube isn't like how many videos you have or even what kind of content you're selling. It's just how authentic you are. And it's funny because I was watching that yesterday, and it was only in the last several weeks that I had thought to myself, like, whoa, I don't like the content I'm putting out. Like, I like it. Everyone loves it. People were telling me, "Oh, I'm inspired by your podcast. They're so beautiful. I'm inspired to start my own podcast. I'm inspired to start writing a book. I'm inspired to start my own crochet club." And like that literally fed my ego, and I was incredibly like ecstatic, and I'm thinking, "I'm in the right place. This is what I'm supposed to be doing." But the problem was that I was just feeling super super inauthentic. Like I just it was too academic and too educative. Is that a word? I'm not sure. It wasn't, and it was also really labor intensive. I was exhausted. It was so hard to edit. It took forever. And it was really stressful. So then I felt like, okay, well, not only am I being inauthentic, but I'm also taking up a ton of time doing something that, you know, I'm just not sure it's me, and I'm not getting a lot of bang for my buck. I just don't know. So I ended up taking a few weeks off and kind of redirecting my brain and my life. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start putting out some really authentic video. And I didn't really know how though. And so I started watching this. I was like, I was not well. I was sick actually during this time. Um, I got a really bad tick bite and I got very sick from it. So I was like crocheting a lot and binging on YouTube. And I found this YouTuber named Oliver Widger who has this channel called Sailing with Phoenix. And this is a guy who literally, after 11 years at a corporate job, dumped his 401k and bought a sailboat and had never sailed and had never owned a boat and made his way across the Pacific after a year of learning how to sail and outfitting his boat and everything. He documented the whole thing. And he's really cool. I like him because he's super authentic. He is just, this is what I'm doing right now. You know what? Today we've got to like change the starter in the boat. And so that's what we're doing. And I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I guess you'll just get to watch me mess it up. So, anyways, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to present much, much more authentic material. Like, I don't really have anything to teach anybody. I teach a lot, but at the same time, I'm just teaching you what I know. I don't know that it's what you need to know. So sorry I was chatting there like nonstop for a minute just because I had like 11 people watching my live, but now there's nobody there. So that's like the hit or miss nature of being live too, is sometimes there will be people in the room, or I say in the room, but that's because they're like in my studio in my mind. And then other times there will be nobody there. So I think of it like a live demo, Pat, where you're like painting and people are just passing by your table and they stop in for a few minutes, they watch, maybe they make a comment, maybe they don't. That's really what going live to me is like. And I think it just gives people an opportunity to watch me paint and listen to my process. So I don't know if you've ever done any live demos before.
No.
Really? Never, ever? Would you ever consider doing them like in a park or something?
I considered doing it when I've been to open studio tour.
Did you do the open studio tour this past fall or this past? And did you paint then?
No.
Oh, how come?
Because I didn't get the idea to do that until after.
Oh, interesting.
Thank you.
Yes. But could you figure out how to maybe do some live demos? Or I don't dare say we get you live on your Instagram page, probably, right?
Not this week.
Not this week, but maybe at some point, because literally all you have to do is hit that live button. I do find Instagram a difficult platform, but you're already on there. So I do lives on there, I do lives on TikTok, and I do lives on YouTube. And YouTube, I feel like is the hardest one, but it's really the best platform for selling yourself as a brand, I feel like, versus the other ones. There's a lot more monetization possibility on YouTube, if that's what you're looking to do. I'm just on all the platforms because I'm just sharing my stuff with everybody. I did limit like which platforms I was using like several accounts on. I kind of limited myself to one account per, and I got rid of Twitter because that seemed like maybe just useless. I'm not in a political battle with anybody, so I don't know if that one's even worth posting on. And I don't post really on Facebook either. I feel like that's just a useless app at this point where people like look for garage sales and stuff and find out about the local boom that was heard at 2 a.m. See like graduation pictures, baby pictures. Like Facebook to me is like a bulletin board of announcements, basically. So if I had an art show, I might post a post on Facebook saying, "Hey, I'm going to be, at Art in the Park on the 17th from 9 to 5 or whatever." But that's probably all I would really use Facebook for. You might find content creating to be creative, though. I do like the aspect of content creation is actually a lot of fun. It's like a game on your phone, but it's your own stuff. But it's kind of like a game, I feel like. So it can get kind of addicting. Like that's the videos I was creating for the podcast before that had like all the bells and whistles and all that stuff were really fun to create. I liked doing it. It was just time consuming. And I was just like, I want to do more painting actually, and less computering. My husband is supposed to show up at 11:30 with a kiss and an invitation for lunch. So I'm excited for that because we're going to walk down to Warren's or drive down. I don't know. I can't even tell you if it's a quarter of a mile. It can't be. It can't even be maybe an eighth of a mile from our house. It's such delicious, yummy food. And he's only here 3 days a week from like May, sometimes a little into April, into I don't know. Sometimes he goes as far in as October, but he makes, oh my gosh, the best burgers, the best chicken sandwiches, the best steak sandwiches. He has ice cream poutine. Oh, my mouth is watering just to think of it. And his prices are like ridiculously reasonable. I guess my husband just alerted me to the fact that the prices did go up some, but I can't blame him. I always thought his prices were like really low compared to everybody else's. He was selling this amazing chicken sandwich like up until last year for like $6. So we would always get one just because you couldn't pass it up. It was so good. This painting feels like it's green with envy. Yeah, so like a lot of times when I'm doing these lives, I will get like a burst of people in the room and then I won't get anybody. And I just stick it out anyways, because I do get usually a subscriber or two each time I go live somewhere. So I just stick it out and do it and hope that maybe one day it'll work out. Madeline Gallo, my like art mentor, she used to say to me all the time, "You're going to be famous one day." And I didn't live up to it. So now I'm going to try now. Oh, there's one I missed. I got to get down there into that space. It's funny. I'm always so excited to get the paint on these canvases. And then as soon as I start filling in the spaces, I'm like, I want it to be done. I want to be on to the next one. I get very impatient during these paintings. I have like 100 comments going. I'm trying to pattern test a pot holder and I was stuck on it. So now I have 100 answers back to my question. If you're with me, I appreciate you watching. It's not the most exciting part of my art career is painting these in. I'm just doing like little sections at a time that I've notated with the right color. And so I'm just finding all the 5s right now because that's the color I'm on and trying to get them all filled in methodically in one coat because it will usually take 3 coats to get a nice solid coverage, sometimes more, occasionally less. I would love for this one to not take 3 coats, but it's gonna need it. Wow, I should turn off my notifications. Sorry. I'm thinking and talking at the same time, which is never good. There's some skinny ones right there. I take the tiny skinny brush. How's it coming along? Good? This is finally starting to look a little bit, well, it's hard to say, a little bit like a race car. It is. It's race cars, in case you can't tell. These are race cars. 2 race cars, actually. F1 cars, inspired by my husband, who loves all things cars, but especially F1 racing. He's very fond of F1 racing. All right, looks like I got some down here, none up here though. So I'm just gonna like come around over here, I think. This is where the color starts to get bluish, even though it doesn't really look blue on here. It looks very green still. I'm working on my latest acrylic called Eye on the Prize. I finished one. The last one I did, I think it was called, it's called Oh Taste and See, and it was a painting of my daughter's hand holding an ice cream cone. It's hard to actually tell what it is until you know what it is, and then you're like, oh, wow, that's what it is. So I do a lot of like color play where it's sometimes challenging to see the image until you know what it is, and then it pops out at you, and then you can see it. Not like a magic eye painting from the 90s, was that? I remember standing in the Spencers and looking at the calendars and like screwing in my eyes so that I could see the picture, which I was pretty good at doing. But those gave me migraines, and my paintings do not do that. We get to go to have lunch at 11:30, so I'm excited about that. Question is it steak sandwich or chicken sandwich? I'm always like digging my hand into the paint I just painted. I try to do it systematically so I don't do that, but I can't help it. It gets on me still. All right, and then there's this one that wraps around the side. All right, 10 more minutes left. I'm counting the minutes to my lunch. And if you were eating where I was eating, you would be too. His food is so good down the street. And his name is Chris. This is funny because like it's called Warren's, but his name is Chris. I think I just painted outside the line. No, not exactly. I can fix it. There we go. I try to use the biggest brush I can, but sometimes I have to use the tiny, tiny ones. It just is what it is. It's a practice and patience for sure, which I don't really have. I'm so bad with that. I am the least patient person I know, I think. People used to say I was patient, and I was like, you're kidding, right? about the only thing I have patience for is this kind of thing. Lovely. All right, this one is like a crazy one because it like wraps around and comes up through here. I'm trying to make sure I don't have any up above that I'm missing. But I don't see any up here, I guess. Scooch this down some. There we go. That's better. I do look for comments and stuff and such, but they pass by so quickly that I don't usually catch them, because if I turn away from the screen for 2 seconds, you don't see the conversation, which I do have to say is a big complaint of mine against YouTube and why I don't do lives on here a whole lot, because I have to have my face in what I'm doing. And yet I feel like YouTube is like, no, if you're live, you would be talking to people and reading their comments, because I think that's what most of the influencers on YouTube do, is like hold like live question and answer sessions, but I'm not doing that. I'm just working. So that is like better suited really for TikTok and Instagram, where I do more of my lives. This is just a quick little half-hour blurb I'm going to do, because I'm trying to still be on the platform live a little bit each day if I can tolerate it. But it does feel lonely, because without the running conversation going on the screen there, I feel like I'm alone, even though I can see like one person in the room. I can see that will tell me there's one or two people, but without the running conversation, I don't know. So I'm not sure if there's a setting I'm just missing, or if that's just a YouTube thing. I've been doing lives on TikTok and Instagram like for some time, but the YouTube live is so different because I can't keep up with the conversation. So yeah, I don't know if it's just expecting me to be doing like a question and answer session or what, but I'm too busy painting to answer questions. Well, I mean, I can answer them. I just need to be able to turn around and see the questions, and I would answer it when I see it. So it makes me sad that they make them disappear so quickly. Because I would imagine this cannot be that interesting to watch. And I don't even have my music that loud. So you don't even get the benefit of hearing my tunes going, which sometimes I have them turned up louder, but my friend's in the other room painting, so I don't want to, like, blow her eardrums. I do like how the paint in this, or the shapes look like dripping paint. So it's like taking the wheels of the cars and turning them into paint. Like literally they're being painted and they look like paint. It's kind of fun. I didn't really see that until I was painting them. And I realized how tedious it was going to be, but I'm like, oh, it looks like paintbrushes sort of, or, paint dripping off of a brush. I see like a lot of shapes in my paintings when I do these. Like this guy here, I see a monster's face. This is like a snake right here. That looks like a Scotty dog's head to me. There's a heart. All right, I'm going to switch up to a bigger brush. We might be able to open the windows and get some fresh air in here if it stays cool. I didn't realize it was cool outside. Maybe that's what I do when I finish up this live stream, is we see how it's like to open some windows, get some fresh air. I didn't check to see what the temperature is supposed to be today. Yesterday was gloriously perfect. It's like the best 4th of July weather I feel like I've ever had experienced, and we were kind of busy doing stuff. We didn't really have a fun day exactly like you would normally expect on the 4th of July. But that's okay. It can't all be games and roses, right? We did go have a steak sandwich yesterday at Warren's as well, but we split it. And then we had ice cream over at Martha's. So, and then we took a walk, and our neighbors were setting off like, they were, I don't know, not very impressive fireworks, probably like 10 feet high from the ground, of sparkly, noisy things. And so as we were walking by, they had that going off in the driveway. So that felt festive as well. Ironically, yesterday we cleaned the church in the morning. And last year, I remember we cleaned the church at night, I think on the 4th of July. And when we were leaving, we went to the grocery store. It was dark out and there were fireworks, and we were able to watch them in the parking lot. So I'm not sure why that's happened 2 years in a row, but it has. Usually we try to go kayaking or something. I've got to paint around the edge here. So what I'm going to do is like move the canvas for a second and just set it up on its edge, and then do this. Because I wrap the painting around the edge of the canvas, I think it just gives it a nice clean look. Because these are so graphic, I think it works. I don't know if it always works, but it works in this. How's it going in there? Are you almost done with that? I want to come take a look at it. Ah, okay. My friend is painting in the next room. All right, so there, I wrapped around that. My husband should be here any minute with a kiss and the offer of lunch, I'm hoping. Usually he will try to like stay off camera, but sometimes I will invite him and tell him he can come say hi. Oh, I just painted the other spot. I do that so much. I hate that. Makes me crazy. These weird shapes are so hard to fill in too. I should really think about that when I'm drawing them out, but I'm always trying to challenge myself and make it harder than what it needs to be. Like a Rush song, they would make their music like too hard for them themselves to play, which is really funny. But I could see doing that. Challenging yourself. Oh, there's my timer. So now I know it's 11:30. Where's my kiss? That's what I'm waiting on. I'm not sure. He might be the only one watching, so maybe he would hear this if he was on watching. Sometimes he visits my live stream, just so I'm not alone in the room. Oh, I try to get as much out of the brush before going back to the palette as I possibly can, just for like saving arm movements. Like wrecks my body to be painting all day at the easel. It wrecks it. I'll be so tired. I'll crash out at 8 o'clock. Oh man, I keep painting in the wrong area. Not wrong area. I keep painting into the other area. So annoying. Well, I can see I'm not getting my 11:30 check-in. Let's see if it's 11:35. What is going on? Let's see if he shows up. I said, where are you? Where are you with my kiss and my lunch date offer? He's supposed to be showing up any minute now. There he is. He's my timer to come take me to lunch.
Lunchtime?
I think so. I've been promising that you're going to come give me a kiss and an offer of lunch at the end of my live stream, and that was supposed to be at 11:30, and you've gone over. So everyone's waiting on a kiss here. Come on, man. They're all waiting and ready.
Well, I'm ready too. I'm ready for kisses and lunch.
So I guess we're going to lunch. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.